Hey GTB, Dean Ditto here. I hope y'all are safe and healthy. I had an opportunity a couple weeks ago to do an interview with a band called Judah and the Lion. You might have remembered their song from 2018, Take It All Back, which was a breakout hit. They recorded a few songs for us and we had a really great interview, and I hope that you all enjoyed the music and the interview as much as I did actually talking to these guys. Some really cool folks. So without further ado, here you go, Judah and the Lion. Stay safe and healthy, folks.
What up, GTB? We are Judah and the Lion, and we're together in Nashville, and hope you all are staying safe at all the different parts of the world that you're in. The first song we have for you is a song of ours called Suit and Jacket.
I ain't trading my youth for no suit and jacket. I ain't giving my freedom for your money and status. So don't say I'm getting old, I'll say it when I do. Cause everybody I know is growing old too quickly. And I don't wanna go, no, how am I supposed to slow it down so I can figure out who I am? And I ain't played in my dreams for no 401k. I ain't giving this fire for a cold, cold heart. So don't say I'm getting cold, 'cause I'll say it when I do. 'Cause everybody I know is growing old too quickly. And I don't wanna go, no, how am I supposed to slow it down so I can figure out who I am? Cause some of us surviving, some of us just rolling, some of us just hoping the world would move more slowly. Some of us alive, we're all gonna die one day. Some of us surviving, some of us just roaming, some of us just hoping the world would move more slowly. Some of us alive, we're all gonna die one day. Come on, boy. Some of us surviving, some of us just roaming, some of us just hoping the world would move more slowly. Some of us alive, we're all gonna die one day. Everybody I know is growing old too quickly. And I don't wanna go, no, how am I supposed to slow it down so I can figure out who I am?
Thanks to all of you at GTB for listening. Before our next song, we want to send a special shout out to all of GTB's future participants. And now we're going to play a song called Beautiful Anyway. Hope you like it.
Day you hate yourself and anxiety, depressed, a mess to death, you'd open up and welcome wide with a smile. They told you it's clinical, that I seem so critical. I wish I could convince the thoughts that you keep on believing were alive. There you go, feeling so broken and alone. You want your head held so low. You want to give in most of the day, and that's okay. But I hope you see someday that you are beautiful anyway. When you look in the mirror, please try to see it clearer. How crazy and amazing you are, and then let it inside. Can be scientific, trust me, no, I get it. But I won't agree when you tell me you don't deserve a life. There you go, feeling so broken and alone. You walk your head held so low. You want to give in most of the days, and that's okay. But I hope you see someday that you are beautiful anyway. Raise your hands, take a second and breathe in, singing I'm here for a reason. Raise your hands, take a second and breathe in, singing hallelujah, I'm known enough. Raise your hands, take a second and breathe in, sing I'm here for a reason. Raise your hands, take a second and breathe in, singing hallelujah, I'm known and loved. And away you fly, free with your head held so high, 'cause you never let up the fight. You never gave in on those days in the pain. That's what makes this life so wonderfully awesome and horribly awful, yet somehow it's beautiful anyway.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks a lot, guys. Super appreciate you joining us. As I said, I've been a big fan since Take It All Back came out. So let's talk a little bit about your creative process. So Judah and the Lion lyrics. When I listen to any of your music, and honestly, the first time I heard Take It All Back, which was your breakthrough song, I was the emotion, was just so apparent in the lyrics and in the way the lyrics are delivered. And then the accompaniment of the music is just an absolute compliment to the emotion. And it's kind of like your soul being laid bare. And so when I think about that, question for Brian and Nate, when you have those lyrics, how do you write the music when your soul's laid bare in the lyrics and you're delivering it with such energy? How do you write the appropriate music to clothe that in music? What's your creative process in taking the lyrics and then wrapping it in the music and then delivering such a forceful presentation?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think
this wasn't going to be easy, man.
No. I think specifically, you mentioned "Take It All Back." That's an interesting example, and I would say each song is almost a different example of how that could come together. But one thing we've always kind of gone back to is like the way that the three of us met was very kind of by chance, and almost the way that we ended up together. We weren't friends before we started playing music. It kind of just happened, and then we were all of a sudden playing music together. Mm-hmm. And it's always felt very like there's a lot of chemistry there. So there's part of it that is almost like if we're allowing that creativity to flow, it can kind of happen naturally. And with "Take It All Back," that was exactly what happened. It was like Nate started playing the banjo line, mm-hmm. and it kind of flowed from there, and we kind of just caught the song kind of just happened in that 10-minute span or whatever it was. Uh-huh. But then there's also songs where it happens much differently, and the lyrics come way before and Judah can speak to the lyrics obviously a lot more, but the lyrics come way before the music is actually completed and that whole thing. So
right. So I guess, kind of continuing on that, when we think about some of your songs and the song "Why Did You Run," and I know the story behind "Why Did You Run." So Judah, how long did it take you to actually write those lyrics down? Was that something where you just emotionally, for lack of a better term, bled onto the paper to write those lyrics?
Well, so Brian kind of hit on it a little bit. Like each song is kind of different. So like for like a song like ours called "Suit and Jacket," that song like took like 5 years to write and to kind of complete. And over the course of the 5 years, the song had different tempos, different keys, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden we kind of found like the right thing. For "Why Did You Run," I had written these lyrics down after my parents kind of gotten their divorce, and I'd just written, just kind of honestly, just kind of journaling, just kind of like my thoughts. I wanted to say this in the song, I think, because it kind of was coming out more like a song than a journal entry or whatever, just kind of flowing. But "Why Did You Run" was interesting because I never really thought that, as like a songwriter, sometimes you feel like you write songs selfishly just for yourself to kind of like help myself process what I'm going through, help myself emotionally. Obviously, not that all, jock dudes have to be horrible at processing their emotions, but I was kind of that mm-hmm. kid that kind of bottled everything, would rather go and play sports than think about like my puppy dying, or whatever,
There's a reason for that stereotype, there's no crying in baseball, right? So that kind of takes their place else, unfortunately. So.
Yeah, exactly. And my mom was a counselor growing up. So I kind of knew I knew that I was doing it, but music and the emotionality of songwriting has kind of always helped me. So I thought "Why Did You Run" was just kind of going to be a song for me and my health and growth, and just being able to kind of get these thoughts out about how really pissed off I was at my parents at the time.
Right.
And I showed the song, I think either to my wife or maybe to Brian's wife, or there's a couple songs in there that it felt like that it actually could help other people. Mm-hmm. So all that to say is the lyrics were written down, and then I kind of made this like weird instrumental demo that did not sound anything like a Judah and the Lion song necessarily. It was more of kind of like this pop mm-hmm. kind of thing. And for whatever reason, just really ended up working for us. So it was over the course of a few years where I was just kind of going through like an angsty kind of emotional mood after my parents' divorce, and written down the lyrics, and then it kind of came through with a melody.
Yeah. So as a guy who's a little bit older than you, I can tell you those angsty emotional moods come and go with the years, I'm knocking on the door of 50, and every once in a while I get those angsty emotional periods. So kudos. You'll still have creative inspiration for many years to come.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. So let me ask you the story about Beautiful Anyway. And that's a great song. And as you listen to it, you're delivering these powerful emotional lyrics. And I know that you guys consider yourself, a live band. Your songs are written for live performances. And I don't know if you had even a chance to put that out in front of anybody yet, but how do you deliver those powerful emotional lyrics every time, and not just for that song, but for a lot of your songs, without it just becoming, spitting out words? How do you channel that emotion? Because I got to believe, the fact that a lot of your songs are written from personal experience and laying your soul bare, that is it that every time you sing this song, you're kind of reliving that experience and tugging at scabs? Or does that actually help you?
I think that it can be like some of the songs on Pep Talks that were about my mom's, bout with addiction and alcoholism, or like my heavier things that I was going through at the time, like really not being able to sleep, stress just kind of like building up, all that. Some of those lyrics and some of the songs I've found even during this downtime, I think did wear on me a whole lot more than what I thought. Mm-hmm. Just because you're kind of going back to that wound and addressing it with however many people are showing up, and then you're doing it again, and then you're having to talk about it in the meet and greets, and then the meet and greets, people are coming up and saying their own story about their versions of that. And so I think that there's like a level of stress there, but I think that for the three of us, what we kind of figured out early on was that the longer we get to do this, we have the honor of playing music for people. Like each word, each song has to matter. Right. And our kind of mission, and this has always been for people and to try to help people. We don't give a crap about like being famous or being whatever. Like we genuinely, like at the core of us, and obviously that's a struggle as well, but at the core of us, what we want to do is like help people. Mm-hmm. And so with like a song like Beautiful Anyway, it kind of came out during this time where a bunch of my friends, / a lot of my like best of friends were really struggling mentally, with like self-hate, suicidal thoughts, right, blah, 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 you can name it, what they were going through. And so this thought, and a lot of the fans, meet and greets or whatever, are coming up kind of saying similar things. Mm-hmm. So the thought of just like having the chance to speak into people's lives through a song, which is usually easier digested than just have a simple conversation sometimes. Yeah. The thought of that, like helping that one kid at the show that's going through that, means everything to us. So I think that song will be a whole lot easier to sing than some of the more stressful songs on Pep Talks. But yeah, I mean, I think it's healing, and it's like, it's hard to answer your question. It's healing and hard. But I think the point of it is to help people. So I can always get behind that.
Let's play speed round, and I have a question for each one of you individually, and then a question for all, and then you guys got to ask me something, man. So Nate, you first, man. Are you a snowboarding banjo player or a banjo playing snowboarder?
Probably a banjo playing snowboarder. I would like to think I'm better at snowboarding than I am, but banjo has definitely taken the priority.
Yeah, banjo lets you be a snowboarder, right?
Yes, exactly.
That's awesome. I have the benefit of living. I live like 5 or 6 miles from a ski hill, and it's not like, awesome. I'm almost embarrassed to say it's not. If you saw it, you'd be like, "That's a ski hill," but it's the best we can get in Michigan. And
those are great. Those are a lot of the pros come from places like that. Yeah, it was. A matter of fact, there's an old movie called Aspen Extreme, and our ski hill was featured at the beginning of it. But my middle son at a 350-foot ski hill got like 27,000 vertical feet before the season was over last year. So I spent a lot of time there. So Brian,
favorite hip hop from the East. Hold on a second. Let me. Sorry about that. Your favorite hip hop artist from the East Coast. Your favorite hip hop artist from the West Coast. Go.
I gotta go Jay-Z and Tupac.
There you go. Tupac, getting old school, man.
Yeah.
Jay-Z, one of the old masters.
Yeah, and I think just Tupac, you just gotta like. One of the first piano pieces that I learned when I started doing more improvising was Changes and that intro.
Right.
That piano is so beautiful and
for sure,
like universal. So
that is a great song. So Judah, Justin Verlander or Jacob deGrom?
I got to go Verlander.
There you go. All right.
I love his attitude. I love like the way he thinks. Sick.
Yeah. He was awesome while he was here in Detroit. Did a lot for the city and was a great motivation for folks. So the last one from each of you, and Judah, we'll start with you. When you're driving in your car and there's a song that comes on that you got to crank up and you just got to sing at the top of your lungs along to. Judah, you still there? Does it look like he locked up to you guys?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So Nate, we'll hop to you. What song, when you're driving in your car and a song comes on, you crank it up and sing along? What is that song? It's okay to be your own song too.
All right. Hey, sorry. I guess my.
No worries, man. No worries.
Judah, did you hear the question? Okay. Yeah.
No, I went out right as you were saying. So Judah.
Yeah. So you're driving your car and the song comes on the radio or it comes on Spotify and it's a song that you got to sing along to and you crank it up. What's that song?
In the Club by 50 Cent.
There we go. Good call. I got 50 Cent right here. So
hey, Get Rich or Die Trying was like my record in high school. So
for sure.
Stand by that. I would love to meet him.
Yeah, he's quite the entrepreneur. I'd love to meet him, not just from a music standpoint, but from a business standpoint. He's got a story. So Nate, your turn. What song do you crank up and sing along with in the car?
Nothing But a Good Time by Poison.
Awesome, man. That's kind of my high school songs that I grew up with. I think that's circa 1987. I think so. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but it was in the movie Grind when I was back in middle school.
Yeah.
The skateboarding movie, and all the dudes are in the van, their own Cletus, and singing that, go down the highway, and that was just
nice.
Maybe a precursor to my dream of doing that with these guys. So
your inspiration
song for sure. Yeah.
So Brian, how about you? Is it a rap hip hop song? Is it 80s? Is it 80s heavy metal hair band? What is it?
I gotta say, one song that has weirdly been following me around in the grocery store and different places is Soak Up the Sun by Sheryl Crow.
Oh, there we go.
So I've been jamming to that. I've been cranking that one a couple times in the past couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man. Yeah. I got a good question for you, since we gotta turn the table a little bit.
Go ahead. What
is one highlight and one low light from quarantine? Start with the low so we can end on the high.
The low light from quarantine is the fact that I've gotten fat. And I know probably everybody's put on some weight, but when it first looked like we were going to go into a lockdown, I went and I stocked up on a bunch of food and didn't know how bad or how serious it was going to get. So I bought a bunch of junk food because I'm like, if we're gonna die from some pandemic in my house, we're all gonna die fat and happy. And then and so now after we've eaten our body weight and Little Debbie Twinkie rolls and whatnot, I've put on probably 12 pounds.
Nice.
Even though I'm trying my damnedest to run it off on a daily basis, there's I haven't been successful, but probably the highlight from pandemic is that schools in Michigan closed on March 12th. And so I've been working from home since March 13th. So I've spent a lot of time with my kids, more time than I've probably spent more time with my kids in the last 4 months than I had in the previous 12 months, just because of them going to school and me going to work and whatnot. and I'm even outside the pandemic, I'm normally quite involved. I coach sports and whatnot. But I was thinking the other day, when I do go back to the office, because we're starting to have those initial lightweight conversations about when are we going to go back to the office, when's school going to go back, and I was like, God damn, I'm gonna miss you guys. When I don't see you at 8:00 in the morning and make you breakfast and yell at you to let the damn dog out or let the damn dog in, or or help you with that homework or get you set up on a Zoom call, I'm gonna miss that a little bit. So that's been kind of a highlight and a future low light coming down the pipe when we do have that tearful moment when they go back to school and I go back to the office, whenever that does come. So good question.
Yeah, those are good. I like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, first of all, thank you so much for your service in the military. Where did you serve? Where did you get deployed? What was your kind of journey?
So I joined. I joined the Marine Corps, and in high school, I knew that I was going to join the Marine Corps. I had no other path that I really cared about. My father was a Marine. My uncle retired from the Marine Corps. My grandfather was a Marine. My cousin was a Marine. So I joined the Marine Corps, went to boot camp in San Diego in 1988, and sorry about that. Went to boot camp in 1988. I was an infantry Marine, and I was but my military occupational specialty was assault infantry Marine, and I served with an infantry unit out of 29 Palms, California, and I traveled to Thailand, Okinawa, Japan, mainland Japan, South Korea, the Philippines, participated in Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm as a part of Task Force Grizzly, which was the first ground combat unit into Kuwait, and did some narcotic harassment and interdiction missions in New Mexico and in Central America.
Wow.
Yeah, it was all that in 4 years too. It was
so you're just like gone.
Yeah, I don't think I was any place for more than I didn't have an E350 Cletus, but we did a lot of traveling and saw a lot of the world. So
that's awesome. Well, thanks for your service. I have friends in the military now. I know what a sacrifice that is mentally and physically and all that. So thank you.
You got one for me, Nate?
Well, I'm debating if we should go like sports or more with the work side of things. I guess maybe both.
Uh-huh.
But just even though I was little, the Patrick Waugh, Chris Osgood fight was such a memorable moment for me.
Absolutely.
Do you remember where you were? Were you at the game? Were you watching somewhere? Was it afterwards? Or how did you? I mean, I don't know. I was like 7 years old, but that like defined like I can't stand the Red Wings. That like made sports so much more important for me at that. I was like, oh, I've never felt this way before. Oh,
it did. And let's acknowledge the fact that it set up a rivalry that to this day, the Wings and the Avalanche can't play without somebody mentioning that. I do, as a matter of fact, remember where I was. I was at a bar, and we were watching, and then the fight broke out, and the bar was going crazy and cheering it on. I absolutely do remember that was quite a while back, but it was amazing to watch. These two teams, and since then, Osgood and Waugh have actually come to they don't want to beat each other up. They run into each other at like NHL reunions or anything like that. But it was great to watch that rivalry form, and then the energy in the years after that to this day, because that was
98.
Yeah, I was going to say 97, 90. That was 98. That was 22 years ago, and to this day, that is still something that people talk about. I'm less a hockey fan than I am other sports fans, but to this day, on Facebook, on the anniversary of that fight, people will post videos of that fight. It's definitely a milestone in Detroit hockey, in Colorado hockey history for sure. I think we're good here.